Mr. Timoni, Mrs. Thomas, members of the faculty, parents, and students, welcome to the 2023 Spring Valley National Honor Society Induction Ceremony. My name is Sophia Meyer, and I stand before you tonight as president of the Spring Valley chapter of the National Honor Society.
My name is Ellie Tracy, and I am the vice president of the Spring Valley chapter of the National Honor Society.
We are gathered here this evening to welcome back current members and formally recognize those students who have been selected by the Faculty Council for successfully completing their candidacy and are being inducted as new members of our NHS chapter. The purpose of this chapter shall be to create an enthusiasm for scholarship, to stimulate a desire to render service, to promote worthy leadership, and to encourage the development of character in students at Spring Valley High School. Our inductees have proven their leadership skills both inside and outside of the classroom. They have shown their dedication to rendering service by taking initiative in their community. For current members and those former members who may be among our guests, we hope this will serve to remind you of the standard of excellence you too are in charge of maintaining as members of the nation's oldest, largest, and most prestigious student-recognized program.
Our chapter is proud to have been inducting new members since 1992, and this evening's ceremony indicates the continuing emphasis on excellence that we represent for our school and community. Throughout the year, members of our chapter serve as role models for other students. In addition to a strong academic record, which established the eligibility for membership, our chapter members are leaders in many student organizations, and we serve our school and community through many activities. We look forward to expanding our reach to the students in our school and members of our community. We are proud of our members' records of accomplishment and welcome these new members who bring new energy in support of our continuing work as NHS members.
It is at this time that we proclaim to all in attendance that membership in the Spring Valley High School chapter of the Spring Valley National Honor Society has been earned by these candidates through the effective demonstration of the four qualities that serve as the standards for the society. Our guest speakers, Superintendent Dr. Moore, School Board Member Mrs. Augustini, Kate Department Chair Mrs. Wilson, and the National Productivity Club President Jisoo Lee will now speak on these qualities. We will begin with a speech prepared by Jisoo Lee on scholarship.
What is the purpose of school? If you're a parent trying to convince your 5-year-old to go to kindergarten, you might say it's a place where we go to learn wonderful things like how to read and use numbers, so that we can grow up to be functioning adults in society. If you're a discovery student who just pulled your fourth all-nighter, you might say school exists to torment us so that we're too tired to question authority. And if you're my English teacher, you might say school was invented to keep children busy during the war so that their parents can work on the assembly lines instead. These are all beliefs I once had about school, and while I do think all of them hold some truth, I think the main purpose of school is simply to make us into scholars. Isn't that too cliche, you might ask? Obviously, school exists to teach us skills and knowledge and give us assignments to make sure we learned everything we need to learn. If we manage to do well in all our classes, that shows we've become excellent scholars, right? This is how the education system works, and this is where I think school may have forgotten to teach us something important. In school, practicing scholarship is seen as a means to an end. The more we do our work and pay attention, the more we'll learn, and the better our grades will be, and isn't that the end goal of all this? But being a scholar shouldn't be about putting down answers on the test. Being a scholar is really about asking questions. Back when we were younger, being curious was something that came naturally to us. Why is the sky blue? Why does ice float on water? We were the most scholarly little kids ever, but now that we're in chemistry and the teacher asks us to calculate the energy of a photon of blue light or to compare the densities of solids and liquids at various temperatures and pressures, the same concepts suddenly don't seem so intriguing anymore. With school telling us that our scholarly worth is determined by how well we can understand difficult concepts, it's hard to remember that scholarship doesn't begin with knowing something, but with not knowing it, and that by wanting to learn something new, we've already demonstrated the kind of scholarship that matters. But this isn't to say that school does a bad job at teaching us to be scholars. Every day in class, we learn the answers to questions we wouldn't even think to ask, and we're constantly asking questions as well. As much as we might hate homework and tests, maybe we should see them as opportunities that inspire us to ask our own questions. In my past few years of high school, I've learned that we don't need to be stressed about not knowing all the answers yet. The kind of scholar that will be successful in the real world isn't the kind that can automatically ace any test, but the kind that can fill up a blank paper with problems they're striving to find solutions for. Keeping the curiosity we had as children might just be what helps us grow into adults who know how to figure out the important questions such as how to pay our bills and how not to get arrested. Rather than seeing scholarship as a means to an end, committing to expanding our knowledge by asking questions throughout our lives is what I believe truly makes us into scholars. Thank you.
Thank you. Our Cake Department Chair, Mrs. Wilson, will now speak about the service.
Good evening. Many years ago, when I lived out west in Albuquerque, New Mexico, my husband and I participated in a weekend missionary trip to Juarez, Mexico. We were serving on a construction team that traveled there to build the foundation of a church. As our van pulled into the small village, I was totally taken aback by what my eyes beheld. It was an up-close and personal view of a third world community. I had never seen anything like it before in my life. During this trip, we lacked the basic necessities of running water and electricity. We also lacked the creature comforts that we were so used to, such as climate-controlled homes filled with all the amenities and really luxuries that most of us take for granted. As we interacted with the residents of this small village in Juarez, what struck me was how little they seemed to have, but how grateful they were for our service. Service, what is it really? Here are a few of my takeaways from that wonderful service opportunity that I experienced all those years ago. Serving others can sometimes be uncomfortable and inconvenient, but it's worth it. If serving requires you to go beyond the normal call of duty, do it anyway. Serving may involve giving of yourself without being asked. Take the initiative. Service will require you to put others before yourself. Do it. It will build your character immeasurably. Service desires the best for others. Drawn to others and always give your best. Service gives without expecting anything in return. Give. Service adds value to another human being. Always be willing to add value to another human being. Be willing to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. Richland 2 School Board member, Mrs. Augustini, will now speak on the topic of character.
Ms. Thomas and Mr. Timoni, thank you for having me here this evening. What a treat to present the quality of character. As you may know, I'm a member of the Richland 2 Board of Trustees, but more importantly, I'm the mother of 3 Spring Valley High School graduates, and all three of my children were members of National Honor Society. I will share with you, my husband and I chuckle at this accomplishment, as back in the day, and I'm talking 1980s, we were familiar with National Honor Society, but we were confident our names were not even on the radar, as scholarship would have been our disqualifier. Congratulations to you and your parents for the significant honor and accomplishment. To qualify for membership, National Honor Society states the student of good character is cooperative, demonstrates high standards of honesty and reliability, shows courtesy and concern and respect for others, and generally maintains a clean disciplinary record. When asked to speak on character this evening, I immediately thought of, number 1, doing the right thing, 2, honoring your word, and 3, what do you do when no one is watching. Doing the right thing. Students these days are faced with many challenges, particularly with nonstop access to social media and constant peer pressure. Often, many go along to get along, failing to speak up or to do the right thing. Years ago, my son Thomas became a residential advisor in his dormitory at college. As he prepared to leave for school that fall, I shared with him some of the difficulties and challenges I thought he might face. One being a student who makes a bad decision and may overindulge in drugs or alcohol. At some point, I told him, you may have residents, friends, fraternity brothers, or fellow athletes that are going to encourage you to let the kid sleep it off and discourage you from seeking help as they worry about their own consequences. I said, if ever in doubt, seek medical attention, get help. While it may be uncomfortable at school, you may lose friends, or you may need to transfer schools, I can assure you, the last thing you ever want to tell a parent is their child is no longer living because of your failure to act, your failure to do the right thing. Even under pressure, even if it's unpopular, have the courage to stand up, stand alone, vote alone, do the right thing. Honoring your word. Based upon the qualifications to become a National Honor Society member, I know many of you lead different groups, student organizations, and provide community service. Perhaps you've experienced the no-show volunteers to your project or event. When you commit, show up. Please don't think that you won't be missed, because generally there are a few others with the same thought. Additionally, if you need to confirm with your parents before you commit, do so. As a former employer of teenagers and young adults, there was nothing I believed less was when a student told me that they couldn't make a shift because their parent told them they couldn't work that day. Especially because I knew most of their parents, and their parents were begging me to put their kids to work. Be the person who can be counted on. Be the one who can be relied upon and trusted to show up. Do an incredible job. Honor your word. Finally, what do you do when no one's watching? In 1999, I ran my first marathon. With a solid 4 months of training prior to the race, I was confident until I acquired a stomach bug 4 days before the race. While running surprisingly well for the first 20 miles of the marathon, it was at mile 24 where my body was shutting down and my mind started to play games. I thought about walking. Who would know? I contemplated walking for about 1.5 miles. I didn't know anybody there. Who would know? This was a true test of my character. For me, I could not say I ran a marathon if I walked. So I ran. If you know, in general, others will know too. By all accounts, to be a member of National Honor Society, you are considered to be a person of good character. However, as you are still young, I will leave you with a quote from Jim Rohn, an American entrepreneur, author, and motivational speaker. Character isn't something you were born with and can't change. It's something you weren't born with and must take the responsibility for forming. Again, congratulations.
Thank you. Now, our superintendent, Dr. Warren, will speak on the topic of leadership.
Good evening. Good evening, students and parents and family and friends. I'm just so excited to be here tonight to celebrate this great accomplishment. So, to Principal Timoni, as well as our Spring Valley High School staff, I want to say thank you for this invitation. And I am excited to be here and share with you this honor of being inducted into the National Honor Society tonight. We are all very proud of you. And we're proud of you because this is a great honor, and it's one that you should be most proud of. We celebrate and applaud your dedication to your education and diligence in becoming future-ready students who will go on to shape the world that we live in. Your perseverance and your hard work have brought you to this place. And while you have reached this admirable milestone, the work is not over yet. So tonight, I'm here to talk to you about the pillar of leadership. And this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart because I believe everything rises and falls on leadership. And as your new superintendent, I stand here as a result of the 3 pillars that you've already heard about, around scholarship, service, and character. And last but not least, leadership. So before we talk about leadership, we need to define what is leadership. Because many of us have our own personal interpretations of what a leader is and what type of person is a leader. So let me explain to you what a leader is by telling you what a leader is not. First and foremost, a leader is not someone who bosses other people around. Now, if you were to talk to my sisters who are younger than me, I am the oldest, they would tell you that I was not a leader when I was young because I bossed them around. Of course, I thought I was being a leader, but they disagreed. And now that I'm older and I know what the definition is, I would have to agree with them. You see, leadership is the art of inspiring, influencing, and empowering others to achieve their full potential and to make a positive contribution to the greater good. And that's what you see on the stage today in your leadership from your principal, from your class sponsor, from your fellow class officers. They're here to inspire you and to help you achieve your full potential. So it's about setting an example through your character, through your decisions, and most importantly, your actions, as Ms. Agostini talked to you about your character. Now, there are many qualities that are associated with being a good leader, and I'm going to share a few of them with you tonight. The first one is integrity. As a young military officer, I learned very early in my career to never put myself in a position where someone will question my integrity. Because at the end of the day, it is the one thing that I have. So please keep that in mind, that you never want anyone to question your integrity. So as Ms. Agostini said, that means doing the right thing and being willing to stand alone when it's the right thing. The second quality of a good leader is the ability to communicate. When you are communicating, you have to keep in mind that communication is not about you. It's about the people that will receive the communication. And as a part of that communication, clarity is kindness. Because when people are unsure or confused, then they make mistakes and things happen. So a good communicator will ensure that they are being very clear around what they expect and what needs to be done. The third quality is empathy. This is so important today, is to have empathy, to understand the needs, the emotions, as well as the concerns of those that you have the privilege. And leadership is a privilege, students. It's not a right, it's a privilege. So understanding the people that you have the privilege to lead and to serve. The fourth quality is adaptability. You have to be willing to make adjustments, and sometimes those adjustments are in the middle of the situation. So do your homework, gather your facts, and be adaptable to changes that need to be made. The last quality that I will share is resilience. Because as a leader, you will have challenging days. There'll be times when things don't go the way they're supposed to go. And everyone looks at you as the leader for direction. So you have to be resilient. You have to be strong. You have to be courageous. And most importantly, you have to be humble as you are leading other people. Now, I want to add one more to my prepared remarks because it goes along with everything that I've shared so far. A good leader has to be willing to own their mistakes. You will make mistakes. We all do. It's how we handle those mistakes that's important. So, let me give you 5 ways to help you develop your leadership skills. First and foremost is self-awareness. Ask yourself the tough questions. Reflect on your actions and make adjustments. Take the initiative is number 2. As we heard from service, as we heard from character, show up when you're supposed to be there and do what it is that you're supposed to do. The third way to improve is to be collaborative. My mother told me when I was young, no person is an island. So Kim, you need other people to help you get things done. But that also means you have to help other people. So be collaborative. Number 4 is find a mentor. Someone that can help you grow and develop, that will invest in you. And the last is to be a lifelong learner. Knowledge is power, and that will help you be successful. So as I conclude, please remember that leadership is a critical component of your journey, but it is not the destination. One of my favorite quotes is, champions are not made in the ring, they're only recognized there. And if you think about what that quote is saying, they're recognized in the ring only because they did all the work that they needed to do prior to entering the ring. That's what you need to remember as a leader. I am very proud of you, and I expect that you will do great and wonderful things as you assume this great honor of being inducted into the National Honor Society. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, will the new inductees please rise? Raise your right hand and repeat the pledge. Please join me in reciting the pledge. I pledge to uphold the high purposes of the National Honor Society, to which I have been selected. I will be true to the principles for which it stands. And will remain and encourage the high standards of scholarship and leadership, service and character. Congratulations on your induction to the Spring Valley chapter of the National Honor Society.
My name is Irene Tain, and I am the tutoring chair for the Spring Valley chapter of the National Honor Society.
My name is Ali Walam, and I am the community service liaison for the Spring Valley chapter of the National Honor Society. And now, inductees, as your name is called, please step forward to receive your NHS membership card and pin and to sign the official chapter registry. Abdullah Amir. Jordan Benjamin. Hannah Cook. Lee Dillon. Jackson Dowd. Marianne Gardner, Ella Gillum, Amna Gulhami, Shrinish Kalva, Mackenzie Litton, Robert McGriff, Elena Mooney,
Emerson et al. Trisha Namyar, Kylie Park, Krish Patel, Yan Pham, Julian Roman Herrera, Isra Sadiq, Aisha Solomon, Juliana Stacy, Zachary Tabler, Isabel Thomas, Hayden Thorpe, Claire Ben, Shashwat Yadav,
Congratulations. And now, please welcome our principal, Mr. Timoni, who will offer congratulatory remarks to the new member.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Please join me in congratulating all of our inductees. Students, I am so proud of you as well for all that you do here at Springdale, not only in the classroom, but also outside of the classroom. Taking on this opportunity to be a leader in our school and also in our community is very courageous and also brave, also sacrificing your time, your talents, and I'm really appreciative. What you all may not know, what you may know, is that these students are very active here at Springdale. They're involved in athletics, arts, student activities, and of course they make sure they're taking advantage of these opportunities we offer here in the classroom. And thank you for that, because you could have chosen not to be involved. What you have continued to do is, and I remember seeing the work that you've done over the most recent year, as far as getting involved in our community, helping our local community, but also our students here at Spring Valley and our staff members, and giving those service. We're talking about service character, talked about scholarship, and of course leadership. And you are committing to continue that great tradition of excellence here at Spring Valley. So I want to thank you, inductees, but also let's give our officers a round of applause as well. It's so wonderful seeing students when they come in the ninth grade, how eager they are. And then as they matriculate, you see them becoming leaders. You see them taking on additional responsibilities. You see them winning awards, being recognized. And then, of course, I'll be celebrating with a few of you at graduation next year. So I'm very excited about that as well. So thank you to our students who led the program. Let's give them a round of applause. It's hard to come up here and speak at the mic, so we thank y'all. You did a great job. Also, please join me in thanking our wonderful speakers this evening. I want to thank you all for being here. Thank you to Ms. Agostini, our board member, for being here. Thank you so much for your continued support of Spring Valley High School. And also our superintendent, Dr. Moore. Thank you, Dr. Moore, for taking time to be here. This is a special occasion. You have school board members, you have the superintendent at your induction. Among you, also around, take a look around the room. I see folks that I know. I see district office staff members. I see businessmen. I see judges, doctors. I see nurses. I see teachers, administrators. We are all here to support you. That's one of the great things I love about education. We all are working together to make sure our young people have what they need to be successful. You've seen many examples of leadership, character, scholarship, service right here in this room, but also in our community. So parents, I want to thank you. Parents, if you don't mind, can you wave your hand or just stand so we can recognize and thank you as well? As I close, I just want to thank you all for your continued support of Spring Valley High School. Can't believe this is my 10th year at Spring Valley. And as I've shared, yes, thank you. As I talk to other principals and other administrators, I recognize that not everyone is at school for 10 years. But I realize is I'm here because of the great support that I get from my families, from our school board members, the superintendent, our teachers and staff members here. I'm very honored to be here as principal. I'm also thankful that I can say that all of our students have a teacher in front of them. I know in this particular market that we have teacher shortages at Spring Valley High School, that's not the case. We have a teacher in front of all of our students, and I think thank you all as our community members, school board members, and all of our staff members for continuing to work with us, and our parents for their continued support. But as I take my seat, I do want to thank our sponsor, Ms. Thomas, for all that she does. Let's give her a round of applause. Ms. Thomas takes us to the next level every year, and we appreciate that. She doesn't have to do this. She volunteers to do this, and I thank you for always keeping our students first and always making sure that they have what they need and looking for opportunities. She was talking to me last week about got another idea, something I want to do to support our students in our community. So I love that eagerness. In addition to being a math department chair, she takes on this opportunity to support our young people, and I'm appreciative. Thank you all again for being here, and have a wonderful night.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Richland 2 School District Superintendent Dr. Moore, Richland 2 School District Board Member Mrs. Agostini, our Principal Mr. Timoni, our Kate Department Chair Mrs. Wilson, Jisoo Lee, our Chapter Advisor Mrs. Thomas, and the members of the Induction Ceremony Committee for their hard work in organizing this year's induction ceremony. A special thanks to the Advisory Council, Mrs. Whitley, Mrs. Stewart, Mr. Grantham, Mr. Price, and Dr. Durant for their hard work in the selection process of our new members. Please join me in thanking them again with a round of applause. Thank you all again for attending our National Honor Society induction ceremony. In just a moment, the new inductees will recess to the foyer for a reception in their honor. But before doing so, please join me once again in applauding our new National Honor Society members. Use this year to explore your passion and to lead a legacy that will inspire the next generation of students at Spring Valley and in our society. It is a big honor to be a part of the National Honor Society, and I congratulate you on this achievement. Thank you. And now, will everyone please stand as our newest member